He said, oh, everybody who signed that is just a bunch of crazies. Well, Oregon was the most represented state of all the other states, and there was individuals from every state, including Hawaii and Alaska, that signed that, and they ignored it, completely ignored it.
What could the federal government say today that would get you to leave?
It's not what they can say, it's what they can do.
What could they do?
They could follow the Constitution of the United States and give these people back their lands. They can look at the violations that they imposed upon, the constitutional violations that they imposed upon the Hammonds, and release them and let them go back to their families.
You mentioned elected officials. I want to read a couple of quotes from a couple of congressional members. Congressman Blumenauer calls you guys terrorists. We also had Senator Wyden, who said you appear to have committed a slew of felonies here. What do you say to these folks?
So who are they from?
Both Oregon. Senator Wyden and Congressman Blumenauer, both from the state of Oregon. Again, Congressman Blumenauer calls you terrorists. Senator Wyden says you appear to have committed a slew of felonies here.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've been called terrorists, and it's not the first time a group of people that are standing for their rights have been called terrorists. Because that seems to be the coinage, as you may, of anybody who stands against the government and what their actions are. Anybody who dares to say that there is a supreme law, that government has rules that they're supposed to abide by. Anybody who does that, all of a sudden now they're terrorists. And so that would be my response to him.
Are you anti-government?
Absolutely not.
Because most people, I would imagine, are watching this whole occupation unfold, would say this is an anti-government group out there. So explain that.
Yeah, absolutely not. We have a system of government that was put in place, and it is been the best system that has been proven in the history of man. And that is a system of federalism. And by federalism, by doctrine, is where each level of government checks and balances each other. So each government has a responsibility and a duty, and when they step outside of that responsibility and duty, the other level checks and balances it. So for example, the federal government's responsibility is to protect the states from the outside world, to handle national defense, international trade, and to be an appeals court. So when two or more states can't get along, they have a way to peacefully resolve the problem by appealing to a higher court. The state's government responsibility is to protect the people in the counties from the federal government. And the county's responsibility is to protect the people from the state. And the people's responsibility is to make sure that their county is functioning, to elect the judges, to be set on the jury, to elect their commissioners who create the laws. And that way their county, the greatest justice and the most closest level of government is to the people is the county, so that the people can be free using their lands and resources, exercising their rights without other levels of government or the world coming down upon them trying to take it.
You know, people are going to say, though, it's maybe a broken system to you, but you guys aren't helping to fix the system.
We certainly are, and that's why we're here. The broken part is that the federal government does not have authority to come down into the states and control its land and resources. And people have to have the resources to live. They have to be able to produce. I mean, the clothes that you're wearing, that I'm wearing, the food that we eat, the water we drink, the homes we live in, the cars we drive, the cameras that are taking this, all of that came from the resources of the earth. So people have to have access to their land and resources. If they don't, then they are literally put into poverty. They can't even live and be comfortable. So whoever controls the land and resources has full control of the people. And that's why our founding fathers were so adamant about the only safe place for the land and the resources was distributed in the individual, the people's hands. And that it was not safe that government get a huge amount and control of these resources, because they begin to use it for themselves and the people would be put into poverty. And that's exactly what's happened here in Harney County.
Do you see this possibly sparking a bigger movement throughout the country? Right now it's Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. 2 months from now it's another spot somewhere, federal government land in the country. Do you see that possibly having a ripple effect?
Are you talking about the action of getting their land and resource, or the occupation? Well, that's an interesting thought that you say, because we certainly hope that there is a spread, a domino effect of taking back their rights, and that spreads throughout counties and states, and we've actually seen that. We've got Malheur County next door that actually have a group over there right now speaking to individuals, and a group of ranchers over there. They're facing excuse me, I'm trying to say that they're facing a not a refuge, but a, what is it?
Monument.
Monument, thank you. They're facing a monument over there that's twice the size of Yellowstone, and it's going to put 350 to 400 ranchers out of business. And that's what they're facing right now. So they're like, hey, we need to stand or we won't have nothing left. You got Grant County, we're meeting with them on Monday. With a large group of people, and Lake County is also being involved, and then we have counties in Utah, we have counties in Arizona, and also Idaho that are considering doing these things. Now, when it comes to the occupation, I would like to address that, and that is, we did not come in here until we had exhaust all prudent measures, and we were ignored on every level. And just as we learned in the Declaration of Independence that it is the individuals have rights, they are God-given, and that they have the right to alter or abolish government if they are not protecting those rights. But just as they did, you have to go through a process of petitions and grievances, and you have to do that prudently. And then if the people are completely denied and not recognized and ignored, then they have a right to act. And that's what we did.
I'll have more of my interview with Ammon Bundy and the standoff here at the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge when we come back.
We have no intention on using our weapons, but we have them.
Bridge.
K2's exclusive one-on-one interview with Ammon Bundy continues on Your Voice, Your Vote from the occupied Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. You know, folks in the community have said they've been followed by people that are associated with your group, sympathetic to your cause. What is the point of these folks being followed?
They haven't been followed by us. Just as the chief, fire chief there found sounds like 6 individuals that were in their armory, and the community was saying that it was militia that was in there. And as he found out and unwound what was happening, he found out that it was undercover FBI. And it was not the militia that was in there at all. And so we have to believe, because we know we have no business and no need to be following people around and, and causing that fear. It doesn't even benefit us at all.
So you guys haven't followed any of these folks?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I want to talk about the weapons, because one of the big concerns of community members is that this became an armed standoff. Mm-hmm. Could not the same thing have been accomplished without the guns?
Well, we have seen where different, if you want to say, protesters have tried to express their First Amendment rights, and where government has come down upon them and beat them and tased them and sprayed them with mace and all those other things. I mean, you don't have to look very far to see that. And that's what happens when those that express their First Amendment rights do not express them with their Second Amendment rights. And so we have no intention on using our weapons, but we have them, and we're willing to stand with them in our own defense as we exercise our rights, and as we restore our rights back to our brothers and sisters, back to our neighbors.
So this is all just a part of this occupation, expressing your Second Amendment rights, having the weapons, with no plans to use them?
No, using our Second Amendment rights. We are using our Second Amendment rights. There are rights. They were just documented in the Second Amendment. And as you might know or might not, there's more to the Second Amendment that most people think. And it says, a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. Again, a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. The right to bear arms shall not be infringed.
You have been called a militia. You know that by various folks throughout the country.
I proudly take that name.
You have no problem with that?
No, absolutely. The militia is the people's army. The Constitution says, the Second Amendment says, it is necessary to have a well-regulated militia in order to secure a free state. In order to have a free state, you have to have a militia.
This occupation, as you know, is costing the county, they say, thousands of dollars every single day. Is that something you guys will repay at some point?
Absolutely, because it's not our choice that they brought in deputies from all the other counties. It's not our choice that they brought in the FBI and whatever else. It wasn't our choice that they barricaded the courthouse and the schools and brought in command centers and equipment and armed men. That was their decision. And the reason they made that decision was to put the people in fear, to turn them against us. And now that's backfiring.
So they're not getting any money out of you once you do
Absolutely
depart.
not. Absolutely not. And in fact, it's interesting because here you got government again spending all this money to defend and protect themselves. And yet the people, because of all this movement and action and all the people that are coming, the business owners are loving it. They're having the best year they've ever had in January, and it'll probably continue that. The hotels are open, the restaurants are full, the RV parks are full, and the list goes on and on. The print shops are busy, and the list goes on and on. So economically, we've already boosted their economy, but then you got the government over here hiding in the corner, wasting all their money. And that's just a perfect example of what's happening in Burns.
Coming up after the break.
You don't come here and intimidate people. You're not invited to come here and bother with our citizens. Doesn't matter if they're my mom and dad, anybody's mom and dad.
The Harney County Sheriff caught in an impossible situation that he could never have predicted. I talked to him coming up.
Orson Bridge.
How many people want to work this out peacefully? Yeah. We'd like these folks to go home.
It is time for you to go home. These people
Despite numerous calls from the community for the Bundy militia to leave, the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge remains occupied. Harney County Sheriff Dave Ward says enough is enough. Now on Your Voice, Your Vote.
We talked to Ammon Bundy today, and he says he's not going anywhere. In fact, I asked him, would you be surprised if you were still here in springtime? He said, not at all. What do you think about that when you hear that?
It disappoints me. I feel that these folks have sent mixed messages throughout the course of this.